I'm back this week at the historic Fort Worth Stockyards, and all around me, families are taking in the sights, the sounds, and yes, even the smells of the stockyards. But the stockyards are far from the only thing for families to do while you're in town for the annual meeting. We discuss that and much more this week on The Road to Dallas, presented by Southwestern Seminary. Hello and welcome again to this week's edition of The Road to Dallas, presented by Southwestern Seminary. Got a great episode for you this week. Going to talk about family fun in Dallas. I know a lot of families come to the annual meeting every year, and they're always looking for things to do. So I went out and found a great family man in the Dallas area, Shane Pruitt, who is the National NextGen Director for the North American Mission Board. Shane, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Jonathan, thanks for having me, and so excited to have Southern Baptists from all over the nation coming in to Texas, into Dallas. Of course, it was here in 2018. We had an awesome time then, so we're excited to welcome everybody back this 2025.
Yeah, so like I said, you're a big family man. You got how many kids now? 4, is it?
We have 6 total.
6
5
total.
here
I'm not even close.
And, one that went to be with the Lord a year and a half ago. So we have 5 that are 18 and under. So we always say that's a prayer request.
Yes, it is, absolutely. So I guess what I'm getting at is whenever it comes to family things to do in Dallas, you're kind of experienced. So
man. Yeah, we're big fans of Dallas. I've been in Texas my whole life. I grew up in the Waco area. My wife grew up in the Dallas area. I moved to Dallas to go to school. That's where we've met. Where we met was at school. So we've just stayed in the area, and we love the DFW area. We're big fans for sure.
Okay, so you kind of start in Dallas whenever we're talking about family things. We're going to talk about the whole Metroplex, not just Dallas proper. I mean, there's some things to do in Dallas proper, but if you've got a car, if you want to get around, there's a lot to do in the Metroplex. And I guess that just really starts with, Six Flags Over Texas, over there in Arlington.
We're big fans. We're season ticket holders. So we go multiple times a year. And like you said, we call it, DFW, Dallas Fort Worth. And if you live here, if there's some people that are like, oh, Dallas all the way. And other people are like, no, Fort Worth all the way. But really, if you live here, it all feels the same because Dallas and Fort Worth, DFW area has grown so much, all the suburbs. So you can literally travel from suburb to suburb area, a DFW, and you don't even realize it. It just feels like one big area. Yeah, but man, we're big fans of Six Flags. My oldest daughter, she doesn't like all the rides. My 10-year-old son will ride everything with me. So a lot of times, my oldest daughter and my wife are sitting on the side eating popcorn, cheering us on, but it's a blast.
That's great. So, but there's the amusement park, but there's also the water park there as well. So you got a little of both, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a great, cool area anyway, because everything's together over there. So you got Six Flags, you got the water park. You also got Globe Life, where you had the World Series champions, Texas Rangers, the season before last. And then you have AT&T Stadium, or what we call Jerry World, where the Dallas Cowboys play. And it's all right there together. Really cool area.
It is. A lot of hotels, a lot of restaurants as well. And I know we'll talk about this in a minute. The Rangers aren't in town while we're there, but they have tours of the stadium, especially at, Jerry World as well. Like AT&T Stadium, absolutely. You can get tours of that. So if that's something you want to do, all of that right over there in the Arlington area, it would do us, no service, I guess, to talk about Dallas and things to do without mentioning also the 6th Floor Museum, a really historic point and place in American history.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My oldest daughter and I went actually last year. I took her over there. We walked through everything, shared more than, what she knew, just even from going to school. And yeah, that's a very historic area, very sobering area, obviously. One of the most sobering things about Dilley Plaza and the 6th Floor Museum is there's actually an X, Jonathan, on the street exactly where President John F. Kennedy was shot. And then you got the grassy knoll there. So then, here comes all the conspiracy theories and all those kind of things. So it's all right there together. Yep.
Yeah. And it's neat because like you walk in there, you drive through it or whatever. Yeah. And it's exactly how you've pictured it in your mind because you've seen that Zapruder film so much. It looks like that you recognize it immediately. It
hasn't changed really at all.
Yeah. It really
that area hasn't changed at all.
Mm-hmm. And they've done. I think they've done a good job of that, really, because, like you mentioned, the historic nature of it, and really the gravity of that plaza, really, and how monumental it is in American history. So that's something I think a lot of people, the first time in Dallas, I think it's a must do to me.
Absolutely,
to see that area. So we mentioned the Rangers aren't in town, but there is AA baseball for the Rangers, the Frisco Rough Riders, up north of town. They're in town leading up to the convention. They got a homestand June 3rd through the 8th. So if you want to catch some baseball, it's available. It's just a little bit north of town.
Yeah, it is a little bit north, Frisco, but Frisco's a cool area. Yeah. There's some great malls there, great shopping, great eating. And then the Rough Rider Stadium is really nice. We've been to some games there. It's really cool. It's not a huge stadium, so no matter where you sit, you feel like you're close to the field. And it's AA ball, so you may see some guys that you see in the league in the future. And then if there's any Rangers that are going through some rehab, a lot of times they'll play in Frisco as they're getting ready to come back. So you never know. Sometimes you might see a Texas Ranger over there going through rehab.
Yeah, and the great thing about, I think you mentioned the great thing about like AA baseball and minor league baseball in general is how close you are to the action. It's not like whenever you go, like you go to Globe Life, you're sitting, 40, 50 yards from the field or something like
Absolutely.
that. They do a good job of trying to get people close to this field, but unless you're paying big bucks, you're not sitting anywhere near the field. But if you go to a AA game, $25 and you're like on the field, like
you're right
next to the thing. So I mean, you can really get some great perspectives and really get close to the game whenever you go to AA baseball. So that's kind of north of town. Over to the west side of town, you mentioned some people are Fort Worth only kind of people. Fort Worth's got a lot to do for families as well. If you can get over there, we shot. You saw at the beginning of this episode the Stockyards. The Stockyards are great, and there's also the Fort Worth Zoo.
Absolutely, yeah. Stockyards are awesome. The Fort Worth Zoo is really incredible. Really a nationally recognized zoo. It's one of those zoos your feet will be hurting when you get done with that. Like it is big and it's really cool. And then so many areas of that zoo, they try to make it feel like a natural habitat to really kind of even hide some of the barriers. So you really feel like you're right there with the animals. So that's a really great zoo. Yep.
Yeah. So that's great options. All right. Anything, I mean, I've touched on the things that I know about. Anything that I'm missing that like you as a Dallas native really know, and like some hidden gems maybe for people?
Yeah. Some of our family favorites are the Dallas Arboretum is beautiful. Yeah, that's a great area. If you're wanting to, be outside, you're looking more earlier June. So it's going to be warm, but it's not going to be that blazing Texas heat quite yet that you would experience in later June, July, or August. So we really recommend the Arboretum. At that time, it'll be beautiful. A lot of the flowers still be in bloom. There's a lot of shaded areas. So if you're looking for somewhere to walk around with your family and letting your kids play, grab some great photos, we're big fans of the Dallas Arboretum. It's pretty cost effective as well. Also, especially if you have younger kids, our kids love the Perot Museum. So the Perot Museum is the Museum of Nature and Science, and it's super interactive. You can go, stand in a hurricane or go stand in a tornado, or there's just a lot of interactive things, see how electricity works. Our kids love it just because you're learning, but it's super interactive. In fact, there's a part there where you can race Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, wow.
So there's a big screen where kids can run, and you hit the start and it'll count you down, and it's basically you and Patrick Mahomes running a 40-yard dash, and you can see how close you stay to him. So it's just a really cool museum. Our kids love the Perot Museum. And then if you're looking for some free activities, I know all those things we talked about that can add up. If you're looking for some free things, there's some great parks that the city of Dallas, DFW has done a great job investing making them really nice, putting patrol officers there to make them safe. But Clyde Warren Park is a great park. You're always going to find people hanging out down there. You're going to see a lot of kids there. You're going to see sometimes live music just out there hanging out. But if you really want to just feel like the culture of the DFW area, Clyde Warren Park's great. If you're coming into town and you're like, hey, man, I've been one of my resolutions for 2025 was exercising and jogging. And by June, you still got that going. Praise the Lord. Good for you. White Rock Lake is a great area to run. There's trails there. There's paved sidewalks that go all the way around it. It's just a cool area. It's safe. So White Rock Lake, if you're just looking for a place to go run, get away, walk, that's a great place as well. And then it's free to go see, but it's not going to be free to buy something or go ice skating. But the Galleria Mall in Dallas is incredible. 4 floors. You got an ice skating rink in there. You got some great stores, great shops. It's free to go, but if you're going to buy something, obviously it's not free. If you're going to skate, it's not free. But it's cool to just go see and be in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's on the North Tollway, right across the interstate from Guidestone. Guidestone, I mean, like you can see Guidestone from the Galleria and vice versa. So that's up there on the north side of town. One thing I forgot about that I just thought of whenever you were mentioning, educational things, you got the Bush Library, the presidential library.
Yeah, exactly.
There in town
the George
as well.
Bush Library. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so replicas of they usually have like a replica of the Oval Office in those. I've not been to that one, but those are always great, the presidential libraries. And if you're a big history buff or something like that, and if you're doing Dealey Plaza and that's something big for you, you need to check out the presidential library that George Bush has, that George W. Bush there in the Dallas area.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's a great thing. So we mentioned at the top of the show, Shane, that you're the National NextGen Director for the North American Mission Board. Your work has taken you all over. It's a busy time of year. I know you're getting cranked up. We're recording this early in January. You had some downtime finally to see the family there in December probably. But you're running all over the place, man. So tell us about what you're doing at North American Mission Board and how maybe people can be involved and how you're serving churches and next generation students as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, so my role, National Next Gen Director for NAMB, a lot of people go, okay, what does that mean? It means I help lead and oversee our ministries that are directed towards teenagers. So that would be middle school, high school, but also college and young adults. And of course, we have people on our team that focus on different areas of that, but I get to help be a part of leading that movement. And as much as we love teenagers, Jonathan, and college students and young adults, really the heroes for us are those people who are on the front lines, those next gen leaders who are impacting the next generation. So that local church youth pastor, that local church youth leader that's a volunteer, those on-campus missionaries that are spread out across our colleges and universities across the nation, the local church college pastor. And so really what we do is we build resources, do coaching, networking for next gen leaders who are on the front lines of leading the next generation. I always tell our team, we want to be like Aaron and Hur. In Exodus, when Moses' arms were up, the Israelites were whooping tail. When he would get exhausted, they would start getting their tails whooped. So Aaron and Hur just came up and uplifted the arms of Moses. And in our context, we feel like Moses for us is that local church youth pastor, that on-campus missionary. And so we just want to come up behind those leaders and uplift their arms with resources, coaching, and networking. And all those resources are at no cost to our next gen leaders out there who are faithfully serving because of the faithful giving of our churches through the cooperative program and the Annie Armstrong E-Star offering. And so all of those resources can be found at gensend.org. That's just GENSEND.org. And then another resource that we're really excited about that we are brand new launching and really launching hard in 2025 is an fully online evangelism resource called Creating a Culture of Evangelism. Oh, wow. There is a track for youth leaders and a track for collegiate leaders. And Jonathan, this is the most comprehensive evangelism training I've ever done or been a part of. It literally starts with the soul care of the leader, because we believe healthy leaders are more apt to lead healthy ministries, and then goes all the way through training and mobilizing students to go live on mission and share the gospel. It's great. 15 online videos. Each video has downloadable guides, additional reading. It's almost like an online Bible course or an online seminary course that's for leaders, absolutely free. And you can connect to those at gensend.org or by texting courses to 888-123. That's courses to 888-123. Connect directly to those. And it's just something, especially, so many of our youth leaders or collegiate leaders are bivocational or co-vocational, or they're volunteer. And it's something you can do at night. It's self-paced, or maybe you are full-time, but you have a bunch of volunteer leaders. You can send this to your volunteer leaders, have them go through it. And it's just online evangelism training that's self-paced. It's almost like a course you would take at a Bible college or seminary, absolutely free. And we're just so excited about that project.
That's awesome. And you probably find out more about that at the NAMB booth if you want to stop by there. Exactly. Shane may even be around that if you catch the right time at the annual meeting here in Dallas. So Shane, thanks again for joining us, man. Shane's got some great books as well. Calling Out the Call, the Complete Guide to Student Ministry, or a Short Guide to Student Ministry, as well as Revival Generation. You can check those out. He's got some great resources himself. He mentioned all the ones over at gensend.org. So a lot of things coming out of the NextGen office, I guess, over at the North American Mission Board. Shane, thanks again for being here with us this week, man.
Hey, thank you, my friend, and excited to have everybody in the Dallas area.
Yes, as always, this week's episode of The Road to Dallas is presented by Southwestern Seminary, whose core values are grace-filled and Christ-centered, spiritually grounded and confessionally guided, student-focused, and globally engaged. You can learn more about Southwestern at swbts.edu, and we'll see you right here next time on The Road to Dallas.